Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So we're back with another review of this week's episode of Black Lightning. This is episode 10, titled Sins of the Father, Book of Redemption. In this episode, we see Jefferson deal with a whole new issue, kind of going on in Freeland, as well as some things going on with Gambi. And we also get a new look at Lala and some of the things that are going on with him in this episode.
Make sure if you are new to our channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also make sure you hit the bell to get notifications every time we do a new video.
So overall, what did you think of the episode?
I mean, it was a good episode. We got, good insight into Lala and his crazy self. And Gambi got beat up, so it was a pretty good episode.
So in this week's episode, I don't know, it was really cool to see kind of where they were going to pick up after last week's episode, because I mean, for the most part, we kind of left off on a somewhat of a high note of Jefferson and Anessa kind of getting a win by them taking down a green light facility basically, where they were producing green light. But we ended up, so we kind of are dealing with the after effects of that. And starting out, we get actually reintroduced to 2-Bit, who's basically just like hustling on the streets, selling bootlegs. Like, I like 2-Bit as a character.
I love 2-Bit.
Like, he's like that dude that everybody kind of knows. Like, everybody has that guy in their neighborhood, or at least in the hood, at least. You got the dude that does a little bit of everything. He got your bootlegs. He can get you tickets. He can get you drugs if need be. Like, he's just that guy.
He can't sell drugs anymore, though.
No. Well, yeah. After his little run-in with Black Lightning, no, he can't. He's not really on that.
He can't do them either.
But we see 2-Bit kind of witnessing the reaction that somebody can potentially have to green light, which is, other than it just getting them high, we see that Gambi's old company is basically re-experimenting on kids as far as what type of effect green light will have on them and who will actually get abilities. So 2-Bit witnesses a girl get abilities, get kidnapped, and straight from there we see Anessa in action once again by herself. I don't know, I like and I don't like at the same time, because it's like you're always like kind of like a little bit on the edge of your seat, like, okay, is she gonna make another bad decision? Or
but that's a good thing. That's what they want you to.
Right. And so
she made a good decision.
Yeah, so she finds the facility that Gambi found in the last episode that had kids that he had spotted out that were being held there. So Anessa goes, checks it out, and after not knowing basically what to do, instead of just acting on impulse, she does the right thing, like Kalila says, and goes and gets her dad to kind of like help her out in this situation. Which leads to one of the better action scenes I think so far this season. Seeing Anessa and Black Lightning kind of work together the second time, but this time like way more in tandem than I think last episode. Last episode, like, they were kind of doing their own thing, and then they kind of like each saved each other at the right moment. Yeah. And this one, we see them like really working together and understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses, which was really, really cool. So outside of that, obviously now that they now understand that, okay, these same kids that probably got powers around the same time Jefferson did are still alive and still being held somewhere. Yeah. I think a lot of that's what you see basically for the rest of this episode, is that their focus is strictly on finding these kids and understanding what the people that are behind this, what their end goal is. Right. But another, like, we still get, once again, like we always do in this show, is that we get a little bit of backstory on everybody else and everything else that people are kind of going through. And since we lost Lady Eve and Tobias seems to have somewhat stepped out of the picture for one reason or another, the only kind of villain that we're getting right now is Lala. And so after not seeing him at all last episode, we're seeing him this episode again, and I'm interested. Like, I am really intrigued into like everything Lala. Like, what is going on with him? What's going on? Like, I can't wait to find out more about the tattoos.
It's so weird though. Like, he knows he's crazy, but he's so calm about it.
Yeah, he knows he's not all there. He knows that he did die, and I think now while we didn't see him remember, he does know, at least we find out in this episode, he remembers that Tobias killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't necessarily say it, but he basically says, like, you know, when I see Tobias, I'm gonna kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of put two and two together. But while the first time we saw Lala, or the last time we saw Lala, he was talking to Lawanda. This week he's talking to Will. His cousin that he murdered. In like episode 3, 2, one of those,
yeah.
one of the early episodes. And so now we see.
1. Wasn't it 1?
No, I think it was 2.
Okay.
Might have been 2.
Okay. Yeah, it had to be 2.
And so we see him conversating with him, and if you, like I just said, he also killed Will. So he's conversating with him about, you know, Will's asking him, or kind of like, hey, constantly reminding him, like, yeah, you killed me. You know, you don't think, you just kill, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we end up seeing the same thing that happened with Lawanda, is that Will is a tattoo on him, which I think only leads more credence to the possibility that Lala will turn out to be the tattoo man, which I think would be great. But clearly Lala is different, other than just the mental state, other than just the tattoos. Like, he does seem to be stronger, he seems to be a little bit faster. We see him basically kill one of his own men, and like, I don't know how strong you have to be to rip someone's ear off, but he does it, and he makes it look pretty easy. And that's probably like
ripping paper.
Well, like, looking back on it, like, looking at all these DC shows, I feel like that's, like, the most gruesome thing we've seen.
I don't know.
In every show. Like, I don't think we've ever seen somebody's, like, actual, like, he's holding the ear, and it's bleeding. Like, you see that, like...
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
I wasn't expecting all that. Like, I mean, the ear pulling off, whatever. Like, actually seeing it is... I was still cool with it. It, you know, it obviously added drama, but... I'm so interested in what's going on with Lala, and like what type of role. I'm hoping he's one of those villains that sticks around. I don't want to see him killed off like Lady Eve was, or disappear.
He was killed off already.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, you know, again,
yeah,
because clearly there's going to be a conflict between him and Tobias, and there's probably going to be a conflict between him and Black Lightning. You know, I don't want to see any more of these good villains get killed off, because they have like such a presence about them when they're on screen.
I'm still waiting for Lady Eve to come back from the dead.
And I mean, I think that could even still be a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, but other than Lala, we also still get a little bit more of Jennifer. And I'm hoping, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the case. I'm hoping this is the last episode we see of Jennifer sulking about her having powers. Because, like, I get it, the first time you figure it out, you know, you find out about it, and then you find out that your parents have, or that your dad has powers, and then you have to deal with the whole idea of, like, you know, what does this mean for me?
Yeah.
Great. But I feel like we've gotten that out the way. She had her little moment in this episode because Anessa kind of pushes her emotionally again, essentially, and it only leads more proof to Jennifer's powers being so heavily tied to her emotions, but she releases her powers because she doesn't know how to control them. She doesn't understand the correlation between her emotions and her powers. And once again, she's frustrated and sad and all depressed because she doesn't want this. And I get it. It makes sense as far as, like, logically and for the story. I just don't want to see her for like 2 more weeks. Like, I really don't.
I mean,
at this point, we get it. You want to be normal. Suck it up. You're not.
All right, Mr. Sensitivity.
But I think even Jefferson, I mean, has that kind of conversation with her later in the episode where he kind of lets her know, like, look, you can live whatever life you want to live. You don't have to be a superhero. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to do what your sister does. You don't have to do what your mom tells you to do. As far as, you know,
yeah, I was about to say.
As far as what you have to do with your life, you live your life the way you want to. But he also makes it very clear to her, you have to learn how to control your powers. And while we get a hint, and even the comics hint at it, is that Jennifer's powers are similar to her dad's, they are different in the sense, and we kind of find that out with Lynn and Anessa doing some tests with Jennifer, finding out that while Jefferson's powers are more like he can control electricity, Jennifer more so creates energy and is able to disperse it that way. Lynn actually uses the word, like, you know, Jefferson is like a battery while
Yeah.
Jennifer is more like a generator. So just the core, like the difference between their powers and potentially how that could, you know, I almost feel like that almost kind of hints that Jennifer could be stronger than her dad.
Oh.
Because while, like I said, Jefferson needs to, as a battery, like a battery needs to recharge.
It needs to recharge.
You know, if Jennifer is energy itself, she probably never has to recharge, but she probably has a harder time controlling how much energy she puts out.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that later in the season or possibly even next season where she's struggling with how much power to, you know, use at any given moment. Other than that, you touched on the whole Gambi thing. And seeing as you were so, I don't want to say anti-Gambi, but you were like, once you found out that Gambi was shady, you had a really strong emotional feeling. How did you feel about like what kind of like happened with him in this episode, and kind of like explain what happened with him?
Now I feel bad for poor Gambi. So basically, they came in and they took Gambi.
They being the company that,
oh, sorry,
yeah,
the
that
company,
Gambi used to
the
work for.
ASA.
Yeah, I think so.
I was gonna say ASPCA, but that's
No,
that's not
pretty sure that's something else.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the animal thing.
Yeah, ASA.
So the ASA, some guys from the ASA took them because, well, basically, they found out that somebody went in the facility where they were holding the children from 30 years ago.
Right.
And they correlated that with Gambi knowing who Black Lightning was. So they took him to find out who Black Lightning was, and he wouldn't say anything, so they beat him up.
So yeah, Gambi went through the traditional torturing of like two dudes beating you up for like, you know, a long time.
So bad.
And then, you know, they did the whole waterboarding thing, and then
and he still wouldn't say anything, so they went and got Jefferson.
But I think it's that hold on, before you jump into like, I think that's really cool. Like there's not a whole lot of
Cool. What?
I think it's cool because there's not a lot of like with superheroes sometimes, especially when they don't wear full masks, like not everybody's a Batman, not everybody's a Flash, not everybody's a I don't know, even a Green Arrow, maybe. But like just figuring out a superhero's identity should never really be that hard. Like if you really look at Jefferson, like dude, you wear a pair of goggles, but you have the same haircut and same beard. Like that should limit it.
Isn't he able to do the face thing?
That's what they supposedly, but they never show that in the episode.
Yeah, they never. Not like the Flash where they show it. They don't show it.
Yeah, but so to see somebody in a position of authority that's like the head of a secret agency, basically in a matter of minutes, deduce that Gambi is the one who found the facility, and then by the Gambi finding the facility, Black Lightning found the facility, so Gambi must know Black Lightning. And the only person that Gambi basically connected with in Freeland was Jefferson Pierce. Like, that's so simple, and it's so realistic, because I think that's something that a lot of people sometimes, people who aren't really into comics, they complain about. Like, how does nobody know that Clark Kent is Superman?
I mean, that's my
mystery
mystery for years. It's been my mystery. I don't understand.
And there's goofy explanations for it, but it's a logical question. Like, dude, all he wears is a pair of glasses and wears his hair a little differently, but nobody can tell that he's Superman. So to see somebody very intelligent do that in a matter of minutes, it raises the amount of drama and intensity in this episode, because as we find out at the end of the episode, he knows that Jefferson is Black Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
and then the other surprise,
which we'll get to, it's just like it fuels the excitement and the drama, because you're just like, okay, now Jefferson really has to be on the move. He really has to have his head on a swivel, because even though he doesn't know that the guy knows, he has to start thinking that maybe these people know who he is. Because they knew enough, like Kalila said, that they went and got Jefferson as a way to get Gambi to tell who Black Lightning was, not knowing that they had Black Lightning right there. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how Gambi and Jefferson start to, because obviously there is a little bit of forgiveness, because Jefferson, while he's mad at Gambi, clearly doesn't want to see Gambi die.
Right.
So yeah, I think that was like another really cool sequence in the show. You know, even seeing how, you know, Jefferson and Gambi reconcile. Like, it wasn't like no long drawn out apology, which is great, because we get a lot of that in all the other shows. Like, whenever a superhero makes a mistake or doesn't want to forgive somebody, we have to deal with like 5 minutes of apology. That's just super uncomfortable. So it was really cool to see that. Basically, what Cleo was hinting at that she wanted to say that I stopped her from saying, which is that the last thing that happens in Black Lightning before the episode ends, is that we see, we find out that the vice principal is actually working with the ASA and helping them find these children who have abilities. And that was a good surprise. Like I usually love the end of these DC shows because they always have like a good little nugget that like kind of like, hey, you got to make sure you watch next week. And so that was really cool to see that she's not just some chick that wants to jump on Jefferson's lightning pole.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Cheeseball. But I don't know, I got the sense when he was telling her that Jefferson was Black Lightning, like, oh man, like, now I can't get with him, like, now I gotta kill him.
I took that as she
looked really disappointed. Like,
she looked mad because she realized, like, man, if I wasn't trying to jump his bones this entire time, I probably would have figured it out.
That too. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was. That's just a couple of the things that happened. We also see, Lala's trying to get back in the game of, dealing drugs and this, that, and the other, which isn't a huge thing, but it's a cool thing with Lala and himself, just seeing like how, because I think even his crew realized like he's different, his persona is different. He's way more calm and collect. Like he puts his mama's life on the line just so that he can get a loan, a drug loan.
So crazy.
I didn't know they took that in the drug world. I didn't know you could like use somebody else's life as collateral.
Can I put my mama on collateral?
But I mean, yeah, essentially that's a lot of the episode. I mean, there's some comedy, there's some funny moments. Len finding out that essentially Jefferson has X-ray vision.
Well, that was funny.
That was pretty funny.
They ain't really exes.
Man,
they say they're exes.
She want to give it up, but but now that we know old girl dirty, Len might actually get in there. But she's still on my hit list for somebody who might potentially die in this show. So, and now that I know old girl is, evil or whatever, like I think that even increases her chances of dying. Like, I could honestly see old girl take Len out, either on purpose or accident.
I still don't like the idea of Len dying, so we're gonna hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but so that's pretty much it. You got anything else that I missed out on for this episode?
Nope. I'm just looking for Tobias. Where you at?
Yeah, pretty much. I think a lot of the things that we're gonna be looking out for is where Tobias is, what Lala's gonna eventually evolve into, and I think the only other big thing is like whatever's going on with Jennifer and how much longer she's gonna be sulking about her powers.
I don't know. I don't really care about Jennifer. I do care about these bodies though. These alive people from 30 years ago. I'm trying to see why they're keeping them alive.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's pretty self-explanatory. They want
clearly
weapons.
Clearly not,
because I'm sure they're keeping them because they want to have their own army of superpowered people. That's why anybody ever collects superpowered people in any comic.
I probably could have figured that out.
Yeah, in any superhero iteration, if you see somebody collecting powered people, you can pretty much assume that they're trying to build an army of powered people.
So we know why they're keeping them. All right, so let's get interested now.
I do find it interesting though that they want a bunch of minority powered people. Right?
That's a little...
Like, y'all couldn't have found a little more diverse pool of powered people?
I mean, but doesn't that speak volumes, though, of, like, what's going on today? They don't really care about what happened and stuff?
I don't know. I think it's interesting. Folk? Maybe. I don't know.
I think that's probably what they're trying to hint at because
that we're the guinea pigs for everything?
Basically.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I don't know. If you guys agree with Khalil, definitely let us know in the comments. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this week's episode. If you haven't had a chance to watch any of our previous episodes, we've obviously been doing recaps of Black Lightning all season long. We also recently did a top 10 Marvel Studios movies.
Yes, we did.
Since Infinity War is coming out in 4 weeks. 4 weeks? Yeah. End of April, so we'll be doing our review of that, our spoiler-free review, because we have tickets to see that on the 26th. So we'll have that for you guys fresh right after we get out the theater. Probably as soon as we get home, we'll recap that for you guys.
Yep.
But other than that,
like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you to all of our subscribers, new and old. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for commenting and sharing and all of that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for us this week. We'll catch you guys either next week, or if we manage to pop out another video sometime this week, we will have that uploaded as well.
If you guys have any video requests, you can go ahead and start letting us know, and we'll try to get those out.
ASAP.
ASAP. We have children, so y'all gotta understand, but we'll try to get those out as soon as possible.
All right, guys. So yeah, take it easy. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Peace.